Hey everybody, welcome back to Boost Your Income with Bootstrap to WordPress. This lecture, I'm going to teach you how to code a circle using CSS3, not Corel. That was weird. Okay guys, now what we're going to do is going to code some CSS3 circles. And what's exciting about CSS3 circles? Well, traditionally, in web design, what you'd have to do is open up Photoshop, create a circle at all different sizes and colors and textures and whatever it is you were trying to do, and you'd export it as a background image. And you couldn't just export it as a PNG because not all browsers at one point supported PNG, so you'd have to have a JPEG as well, and you'd have to have all these different fallback images. And it was a huge waste of time and a pain in the butt. But now you can use CSS3 for your circles and your shapes. So we're going to do that, and I'll show you what that is here. These are actually circles in CSS3. They're not images. They're circles using CSS3. And the even better part is they take hardly any loading time. Whereas an image, you'd have to export all the image assets, and that has loading time, blah, 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 blah. Crappy, CSS3 is awesome. Let's do it. Open up your CSS. And in your global section, we're going to go to the bottom here after image. Now, I did realize there's one thing we haven't done yet. And this is I wanted to include this in this lecture because although this lecture is about CSS3 circles, there's one thing that we missed in a few lectures back. And that's cool. That's fine. It's natural. That's kind of the process of web design and development. You don't always have everything perfect and in order. Sometimes you have to jump back and fix something that you forgot a while back. And we're going to do that together. So right here in this section, we just need to select our modal content. Remember the modal content in that modal window? Well, there's supposed to be a texture within that pop-up window. Right now it's just white. We're going to change that, and we're going to give it a background texture. The tile.jpg. Top left repeat. So that's selecting the tile graphic, and now let's just check it out. Refresh your page and initiate the modal window. There you go. Now you should have the tile. There you go. That's it. Okay, now let's jump back into our CSS3 circles. Right below the modal content, conveniently, we're going to select the CSS class badge and social. So we're combining those together, badge and social. So this element has two classes, and we're selecting them together rather than spacing them apart because it's not a descendant selector. We're combining those. Okay, the background will be CCC. Font size, 24 pixels. Height, 40 pixels. Width, 40 pixels. So we're making a square here. Text align, center. Line height, let's go with 40 pixels because that's the height of the social icon. So that should technically center that text vertically. Margin, 0.5 pixels, 20 pixels, and 0. So that's 0 on top, 5 on the left and right, 20 on the bottom. Sorry, 0 on top, 5 on the right, 20 on the bottom, 0 on the left. Padding, none at all. This is where the CSS3 circle comes in. So we're going to do WebKit, border, radius, 50 pixels. The other thing you could do is just 100%. But because we're height and width 40 pixels, and it's not going to change ever, we could just say 50 pixels, just a little bit larger than the height and width itself. And then Moz, border radius, is for Mozilla browsers, 50 pixels. And then just the good old, border radius, 50 pixels. Now I want to show you something. Something comes up here in Coda 2. The little border radius dialog window here. If I click that, I can actually style my border radius right here. So right now this is 50 and 50, like 50 pixel border radius. But if I wanted to change it, and I want it to look like that, and maybe I want it to look like that, or like maybe a little bit like that, and then this is very ugly. But see what this does? There you go. How about something like this? It's a neat little, teardrop shape. Something like this. There you go. That's cool. What if you wanted to do that? Then there you go. You just add the other values here in the CSS class. But we're just going to go with 50. There you go. And then the color of the text will be white. So why don't we just check it out and see what it looks like. Refresh that and scroll down to your instructor section. Here it is. Hey, so we're getting there. Now I noticed a small little detail that you might not even notice. I said 40 pixel line height, but if you can see here, the graphics are just a touch too high in the center vertically. There's a little bit too much space in the bottom, not enough on the top. So they're not technically centered. And that's due to the fact that sometimes the icon fonts don't match up the line height properly because it is what it is. So all we need to do is just a little mini hack. Instead of line height 40, just add a couple pixels to that line height. And now if I refresh that, there we go. That's dead center. So just a couple pixels made all the difference. Okay, now we want to be able to make these colors change when we hover. So back to the CSS. We're going to select badge. That also has the class of social. That also has the class of Twitter. And the pseudo class hover. So badge, social, Twitter, hover. Background, the Twitter brand color by 5 ACEE. I didn't memorize that. I have a reference. And I researched it. And why don't we just keep going? Badge, social, Facebook, and hover. The background, so we'll do the Facebook brand here, the actual purple blue color that they use, 5998, 3B5998. And then badge, social, G+, remember, hover, and then we'll use the G+ background, the actual brand color. So we're actually complying with their brand regulations. Sorry, that should be 4. No, I'm a liar. That's D. DB 4B39. Save that. Why don't we give it a little check? Hover over those, see what happens. Look at that. So I got the G+ salmon color, Facebook blue purple color, and the Twitter sky blue color. Amazing. Okay, so we're getting there. Okay, now there's something that I notice here. I don't like how this looks. You can see the instructor, the H2 here, and our social icons. They're not lined up very well. That doesn't look very good. They don't match up in the baseline. And by the baseline, I mean the bottom of this level 2 heading. They don't match up. There's a little bit of spacing here, and that's because this level 2 heading has margin on the top, and we do not want that. So let's go into our CSS and scroll down past the layout section here, down to the instructor. There we go. And just select instructor ID H2, margin 0, 0, and 20. So there's only 20 pixels on the bottom. And there we go. So now it's lined. It should be lined pretty much right in the center. So we've got just 20 pixels on the bottom. That gives us just a little bit of space there. So now the H2 is pretty much center in between, vertically in between these social icons. Now why don't we move down and style these babies up. So go to your code here, and we're going to select, those have the class of num. So we're going to select instructor and then class of num. And then what we'll do now is let's do a few things. So font size 30 pixels, font weight bold, color white, and let's say height 140 and width 140. Text align center. Background, we're going to do that salmon color, DD5638. And then we're going to do that border radius. So WebKit border radius. And that will be 100%. We'll just try it. Why not? And then Moz border radius 100%. And border radius 100%. Great. Let's do some sexy text just because we want it to look smooth. Save that, and let's just see what happened. All right, so the circles are there, but the text doesn't look that great. But that's okay. I'm going to save that for the next lecture, and I'm going to show you the trick to make sure that the text within a block level element is always vertically centered, and it's not using line height. It's actually something you may not have heard of before. It's cool. See there.